Cavalier for life. That's quite a statement. What do you think makes him so confident about that?
I mean, we take this thing one day at a time. Um, but Tristan is, he's really the heartbeat of this team. I think every possession you see him out there in the paint, outman by himself, going to war with 3 or 4 guys at a time, and he comes up victorious. And so he gives us a toughness and the edge that we need, that we thrive off of. So I know we love him. I love him. And he's a Cav right now, so that means he's a Cav for life.
Is there anyone remotely as edgy as he is on your team, and how important is it to have that ingredient?
I mean, when you have a guy like him, you really have a special player. There aren't very many guys in this league like him, and honestly, there are very few guys I've seen in my time in the league with the motor and intensity that he brings. So he's a unique player, and that's why we desperately need him.
He studied Rodman, apparently, films of Rodman rebounding. What do you think he got out of that?
I think it's, in your mind you look at it and say, hey, you have to be relentless. But until you watch someone actually do it, you don't realize how much work, how early in the possession they start to do their work. And so for a kid like him who's a visual learner, it was very good for him to get that at an early age, because it's something that set the mark for him. And every day he comes to practice, every night he goes out there to try to perform.
Expect he'll color his hair eventually later in his career?
No, I think those days of guys coloring their hair are long gone.
In your 1 year in Cleveland, have you picked up what pro sports mean to this town, and what, if you guys get that fourth win to make to the finals, what that release or celebration would be like for Cleveland?
I know the winters are cold, and so when it's 20 below outside and you're snowed in, and all you have is the game of basketball, the fans, they watch. And so it's something that over time families have brought their kids up watching basketball, watching baseball, watching the Browns. And so this is a sports town, because everywhere you go, there are season ticket holders who've been there for 15, 20 years. And that's the sign of a town that embraces and loves their sports teams.
You've played in a few different cities during your career. What anecdotes can you share about things that you've heard from people here in Cleveland about what it would mean to them to get to the finals and to win it?
Just, the fans here, they're here every day. Win, lose, or draw, they're here every day. And the ultimate reward would be to get them a championship. And so when you know that the fans will show up for you regardless if you're winning or losing, you know that that they love you, that there's sincere love. And that's when you thrive your best. So that's why we're out here pushing, trying to win one more game to get us one step closer to achieving that goal.
What do you picture the reaction would be like outside the arena, between the stadiums? The Indians are playing tomorrow night. Could be a lot of people out there.
I mean, I get here so early, I can't even tell you what the streets look like. But I know deep down in my heart that the city is a buzz with the prospects of what we can do. And we're looking forward to making them proud.
James, you've seen LeBron push through pain and kind of grind through games. Have you ever seen him do anything like he did last night?
Last night was unbelievable. I haven't seen him do anything on that level. I think the stats show he hasn't done anything of that level. And to do it in the fashion that he did, after starting 0 for 10, it just shows he's resilient. And he's the world's best player for a reason, because when you need him, he shows up.
What does that mean then for team morale and confidence when you see him do that?
We know we have the world's best player, and when he's playing like that, the least we can do is show up and do our part. And if we do that, we'll be a very good team.
You've been on the Heat teams, and you've seen what LeBron did. He said this will be his toughest challenge. Why do you think that's the case?
I mean, because it's a different situation. This is the first year. The first year of any arrangement is always the toughest. You're still a work in progress. You don't have the ability to sit back and analyze and have an off season to say, hey, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. You do everything on the fly. And usually teams are motivated to play you. They're going to give you their best because, you're the center of the sports talk world. So this will be the hardest thing ever, because every year we've always said to win a championship is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
He compared last night to San Antonio Game 1 last year. That obviously looked a little bit more extreme in terms of dehydration. But was there any similarities for you watching him last night compared to that night?
Yeah, that game in San Antonio and the game last night, he was live every play. I don't think he got a chance to rest. On defense, he was active, catching the ball and pushing it in transition. He was attacking on the post, so he was playing every facet of the game extremely hard. And at some point, if you play 46 minutes in overtime, you're definitely going to get exhausted.
The other day, he made a comment about why he's better now as a player and as a man, and he said, "My hard drive is bigger. I've learned an awful lot over the last years." You've been with him for some of those years. Where do you think his hard drive has gotten bigger?
Everywhere, every facet of the game. His resiliency. He's had his moments where he's had late game opportunities and he's failed, and he's had some where he's succeeded. He's had opportunities where he started fast and fizzled late, and then he's had games like last night where he started slow and then came on strong. So just being the leader of a team where everything starts and stops with you, I think he's become a lot more comfortable with that, and he's found a way, regardless of the moment, to make his teammates better.
What would it mean to you to go to 5 straight finals with him?
It's special. I mean, as a kid, you dream of having the opportunity to play this game, the ability to do it 5 straight years in the finals, and pursue a third championship is something that you have to relish, and it's a blessing. And to have a friend and a teammate like him, whose only goal is to make it to that level, it makes it a lot easier on us, I'll tell you that much.
James, what does it say about you that he wanted you to come with him? That he said, "Okay, if I want to try this again, I want James Jones there."
I think he thinks I'm a pretty good shooter, but more importantly, we talk a lot. He knows that for me, it's whatever it takes to help the team win. I gave up stats and personal accolades and things a long time ago when I realized that the only way to win a championship is to sacrifice. And so he knows that myself and the rest of those guys in that locker room are willing to do whatever it takes to help him and his team succeed.
He's taken a real noticeable, visible role of protecting other players on the team, even to the point on the podium where if a player is asked a question like Dellavedova last night, "Are you a dirty player?" The Hawks think you are. LeBron wants to take control of the microphone and even protect his player there. He did it with JR the other night. What do you think it is about him that gives him that instinct to protect other players?
From personal experience, he realizes that there's always storylines. People are always looking for storylines. If you can't attack him because he's playing extremely good basketball, you attack the people around him. You try to, like we said, find a chink in the armor. And he's very perceptive. He knows that storylines can break teams up. So you avoid them and you keep things strong.
There's been a lot of talk the last couple of days about playing hurt, not only LeBron, but Shumpert and several other guys. What's the difference between talking about playing hurt as they are and then with Kyrie not playing the last couple of days? How do you reconcile what's going on with the guys on the court versus what's going on with Kyrie?
If the guys are on the court are playing, that means they're in shape, good enough shape to play. And if guys aren't, we know what we're here for. We know what we're chasing. And every guy in here wants to be a champion. And so we're willing to do whatever it takes to do that. And so if a guy isn't on the floor, you just have to trust, and we all trust and know that the moment he's ready, he'll be back.
James, you might not play the minutes that LeBron does or have the USA basketball experience in the summers, but what's it been like for you?
Why you try to throw that shot at me because I didn't play USA basketball?
The arduous process of going through potentially five straight finals for you.
I mean, it's a never-ending season. You get a month off and you're right back at it, trying to figure out how to get better. Mentally, more than anything, it takes a toll. Physically, you can find your way through the season. Our bodies are trained to be able to sustain it, but mentally, you just have to find a way to refresh and get sharper. And so, as a veteran, as an older player, you watch more film. You have more conversations with your coaches. You interact better with your teammates to try to refine the process. But it's tough. There's no shortcut for it. We played a lot of basketball. He's played a lot of basketball. It wears on you, but in the pursuit of that goal, you just have to find a way to push through.
Do you ever think about guys like Chris Paul or Carmelo Anthony never got to or haven't got to that level yet, and the fact that you're going to have a chance to potentially do it 5 times?
I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and I look at those guys who are very good players, great players, knowing that's their goal, that's their dream, is to achieve this level. And so I count myself blessed, and and I don't take it for granted.